Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet. We are broadcasting live tonight on YouTube, and we are also on Zoom. Everybody's welcome. You do not have to watch on YouTube. We're just putting it on YouTube so you can watch it later, and we're also putting it on YouTube to invite you in. So what all you have to do if you're on YouTube is go to SWFLtech.net. That's SWFLtech.net. And as long as you are an inspiring amateur radio operator or a current amateur radio operator, you're welcome to come in and participate live. And I'd like to welcome especially the members of the Fort Myers Amateur Radio Club and the members of CARS, the Charlotte County Amateur Radio Society, both of our amazing teams here in Southwest Florida, and where most of our participants are coming in from tonight. And we have our past president in tonight, Robert, and just a great club here in Fort Myers. I got to tell you guys, I want to keep our president, Steve Clayton's wife is having some medical issues. She's doing okay. She's stable, but I'd like everybody to keep her in your prayers tonight. And I would like to think about her and hope that she gets better soon. And so that Steve can get back to the great work he's doing as our president. So just our thoughts and prayers for her tonight. All right, moving forward, tonight I'm going to talk later about some neat programs at the end. I got a couple of programs, Mouses Without Borders and Manny Cams, and a few things we're going to just talk about late tonight. So for those night owls that stay up with me late, as you know, I like to do a couple of programs or apps towards the end, and we're going to be doing those. Tonight, we're going to be talking so much about Sporadic E and the magic bands that I don't really want to do too much. I want to jump right into it. But first, I want to open it up. Does anybody have any announcements or anything they'd like to say before we move into the main topic? Come now. Quiet like the traffic net this morning. Okay. Let's see here. He goes, is there anybody holding traffic? And I literally think I heard crickets on the radio. I'm not sure. And that's so unusual because we have one of the busiest, like the busiest traffic net in Florida. I was kind of surprised, but it happens every now and then. All right, let's talk about the Sporadic E. I put together a slide presentation, not because I'm teaching you guys anything, but because I want to direct our conversation tonight. And as always, I don't know anything. So please help me tonight. Always welcome to correct me. You're always welcome to tell me I'm wrong. And I will always shut up and yield to someone that's been doing it longer than me, which is probably just about everyone here. And I admit that openly because I don't ever want to be accused of some smart ass guy that's been doing it for 9 months and he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm facilitating tonight, and I want to facilitate us having a great conversation about Sporadic E. Sporadic E, what is it? Well, let me tell you something. It's an amazing phenomenon, and it affects a lot of different bands, but it also works with all the digital modes and a lot of different things. And we're going to discuss all this as we get into tonight. That right picture is from yesterday. That is a 6 meter opening that happened over Europe yesterday. And I've got some more pictures, and we're going to talk about that coming up. 6 meters. Every time, and this was me when I went there, I'm like, there's nobody there. It's like, I could literally have my own club there. There's like nobody there. And so there's a lot of reasons for that. And the main one is because it's really only good when there's either solar activity or there's Sporadic E. So you need one of those two things. But there's also some other things that you can do with 6 meters. And we're going to talk about those here in just a minute. The neatest thing about 6 meters is it's open to everybody, technicians, everybody. And now there's no novice class anymore. So everybody that's got an amateur radio set of call letters can get on here and use 6 meters. And also a section of 10 meters on sideband. And we'll address that briefly. You can also use equipment you might already have. A lot of people don't realize it, but their rig probably has 6 meters in it. It's just that their tuner won't get them down there or whatever. And building a 6 meter antenna is easy. I built 2 this week. I rebuilt my extension cord one at the beginning of the week. And then I put together my H2 square, and I'll talk about that later. Antennas are as small as 9 foot. And you can also use your existing HF antenna if you've got a tuner that will do it. And I'm going to stop right there. Does anybody have any? I went too far. Let me go back. What am I doing? What happened?
Done messed up.
Oh man, I suck at this. I need, you know what I need? I need a producer is what I need. Um, oh, what happened? View, present. Here we go. All right, we'll just do it. We'll just do it this way. I don't know what happened there. All I had to do was hit the left arrow, but for some reason I hit something else. Anyway, let's stop right there after we talk about the antennas. We are going to get into antennas in depth, but generally, does anybody have anything so far they'd like to add?
Somebody keeps chunking the repeater over and over.
Right now?
Yep. The 685.
Oh, I see that.
They've been doing it all day.
I hate kerchunkers. I don't mind every now and then, but my God, folks, you'll know when I kerchunk because I kerchunk, I let it beep, and then I say KO4 EFS kerchunking. That's literally what I say. Because it's so bad. Anyway, let's move on. You can use gain antennas and Yagis and homebrews when it comes to this kind of stuff, because 6 meters is really, it's still short enough that you can build it and put it anywhere. You could hide this outside your house where you might not be able to hide a long wire or something. When the band's open, it can make contacts with minimal equipment and power. You have to know when to be on. And we're going to get into that later. There's actually alerts that you can sign up for to let you know when the sporadic E begins to run. And it can be a challenge as propagation patterns are very unpredictable with this. This isn't like, well, okay, there's sunspot activity, so tomorrow's going to be a good day for HF. This is a little harder to predict and a little more of a challenge. And for all these different things that work on 6 meters, and we're going to get into all that. Learn some new modes like FT8. There's a lot of different modes when it comes to 6 meters. All the same digital modes that you're using now will work on 6 meters. I mean, that's basically the bottom line. And you can also get a bunch of awards. There's this is just an example here. The ARRL has an award you can get if you work 100 grids with 6 meters. I worked 2 today with my new thing out there, so I'm on the way. All right. Where does the magic happen? Well, it happens in the E region. And those of you who has been a while since you studied for your test, here's the regions again for you. The E region, you know, the D region sometimes can block us a little bit. That's a different story for a different day. But sporadic E, as the name says, happens in the E layer of the atmosphere, where most HF skywave propagation happens in the F region of the atmosphere. Now, I'm not going to get overly scientific, but I welcome anyone else to if they would like to. Remember, I'm not a science guy, but I do play one on TV. And basically, you can see here on the right the different layers. When the E layer bounces, when you get the sporadic E, it generally is not as far of a hop as you would get, obviously, on the F layer, because the F layer is higher. And so that I thought that was interesting, where, you know, your standard HF hops, what, 500, 700, 800 miles usually. I know I'm totally like just throwing numbers out here. This is more of a 300, 400, 500 mile phenomenon from what I understand. It is the peak circle. And so keep that in mind. You can do double hops with this, triple hops with this, just like you do with anything else though. All right, what frequencies and what modes? Well, there you go, pretty much everything. There's a lot of different modes. There's FT8 on 50.313. That's what I'm monitoring over here right now, and it is dead. Of course, I got my Yagi shooting south, and both my contacts were north. So I don't know if that means my Yagi sucks or it's working really good. I don't know which. You can use all these different modes on there. They all have their assigned frequency, just like everywhere else. But here's the thing. If you look at this, data is becoming big on 6 meters because it is a tough band, but you can still, I could never talk to somebody on 6 meters, 100, 200 miles away when the band's crap, but I might get an FT8 contact that far away. Cause you know, that gives you, FT8 can go 4 times, 5 times further than voice and still get through. And so, that's what's so great about it. So there, that shows you there that data is becoming pretty popular. And this was as of about 3 years ago. So Technician privileges. Those of you who are technicians, I don't know, and I don't want to go down a roll call and see who's here that's a technician. I don't want to go through all that. Technicians, you know who you are. You are allowed to get on this stuff. I want you to notice, even on HF, on 10 meters, you are allowed to talk on sideband, phone or digital. And that includes FT8, and that includes some contesting for phone even, if you want, if it's running and you can get on there. And of course, you have amazing privileges on 2 and 6 meters, and that's the other side of that sporadic E band. So this is open to everybody that has a radio, pretty much. And you know, I saw 10-meter radios on Amazon, 10-meter sideband radios for under $200. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Here's your 6-meter band plan. We're not going to go through this all the way down this, but I do want to notice that it's set up just like anything else. If you're going to go there, take a look at your band plan. There is the AM calling frequency, and there's the national calling frequency, and then there's also an international calling frequency, just like, you know, most bands have that. And then there's some set frequencies down here, but you know, whatever. All right, so the most common 10-meter, let's stop there. Does anybody have anything at this point about the 6-meter band, the band plan for 6-meter, anything like that? Anything we discussed so far? All right. Now, when we're talking 10-meter and 6-meter, and sometimes 2-meter, we're talking about some different types of propagation. And I thought this was really cool. It's not just sporadic E, although most of it is sporadic E. I wanted to mention these. I want to take like 10 minutes and just talk about these other things because this is really cool. Okay. Tropospheric ducting is big. Now, sporadic E, we talked about. Tropospheric ducting, okay, is a big one, because tropospheric ducting, what it basically happens is your tower or your signal goes up into the atmosphere, and it's trapped between thermal layers, and it actually travels like through a little, let's call it a thermal wormhole as it goes up through Florida or wherever. It seems to run north and south. It likes north and south. And it likes between here and St. Petersburg, where that other 92.5 station is. But when Tropo starts running really hard, it'll push our radio signal on 92.5 megahertz down, and people will hear us in Alamorada down here. But people in North Fort Myers are hearing Spanish music from St. Petersburg. It literally shoves everything south because their signal ducks through the duck and then comes back down again right on top of us. And so this is a phenomenon that we can take advantage of. I woke up one morning and I checked in on a net on the 685. But it wasn't the 685. It was
I've heard that.
It wasn't the one in Bradenton either. It was way up in North Florida where my Yankees were pointed. And I had to look up what the PL tone was. I programmed it in my radio and I checked in on their net. And I thought that was pretty amazing. And what it was tropospheric ducting that day was really strong between North and South Florida. And I was literally speaking through a thermal tunnel in the atmosphere. Freaking cool. Anything on that?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Go ahead, Joseph. You're a little low, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. That ducting, it works on 70 centimeter as well. And I hear the Miami 444.325 repeater, the W4THM repeater from Miami. I will hear that here in Fort Myers quite frequently. So that's going about 100 miles coming my way. And I guess that's probably tropospheric ducting, because I can get into them and they can hear me fine, even when I'm mobile on my way to work some days. So certain days of the week, it'll come in really strong. And I guess that's this ducting here.
Wow. I'm not 100% sure how much it's affected by it, but I'm sure there's always some effect. There has to be. And the other thing you have to remember with signals from Miami, especially the further south you go in Lee and Collier, signals from Miami, signals tend to run pretty good across the grass. There's just no cities or power lines between here and there. And I've noticed that late at night, I can sometimes get Miami stations pretty good because
because I'm just running across the top of the grass. There's just not a lot there, the top of the Everglades. So anyway, yeah, so, but that very well could be. I'm wondering how much of that is tropospheric ducting. The next one is auroral propagation. This is one that's not as popular down here because the further away from the poles you are, the less likely you are to get any of this. But for someone further north, you could actually bounce your signal off the aurora and it would come down on the other side. If you've ever gone on and listened, you can go into each of these propagation modes on YouTube and put them in and listen to what they sound like, and they all sound different. This one has a real raspy sound, and this next one we're going to talk about, backscatter. This one sounds like you're in a cathedral, like you're in a big room. It's kind of it's kind of cool. I wanted to listen to all these earlier, and it was really neat. But you can actually listen to each one and know what it is. Backscatter is another one where radio waves are reflected back into the skip zone. It's almost like most of your signal goes out, but a little bit of it gets reflected back, and so someone that's only like 80 miles away would hear you and through something like this. It basically bounces back into an area where you normally wouldn't be able to talk to anybody with skywave, but it's actually coming back back towards you in a way. And so that's an interesting one as well. Not as popular, but if you ever get a weird transmission from 60 or 100 or 150 miles away, and it sounds like they're sitting in a church talking to you in a cathedral, it very well could be backscatter. And that's the reflecting back of the signal, of your signal. So that's kind of cool. Meteor scatter is cool. During meteor storms, you can actually go out and use this band. Is 6 meter especially is really good with meteor scatter. And when there's a bunch of meteors coming in over and over and over and over, you start to build up this layer up there where it will begin to reflect radio communications. This is something where, it doesn't last long, and it's something you got. That's more of a tough one to get. All right. What times is 6 meters best? Oh, you know what? I do want to go back. I want to go back to here because I just want to go down this real quick. I want to just mention this because this is the crux of our conversation tonight, is this page right here. And so I didn't want to skip totally over it. Sporadic E is also known as ES. Its propagation is probably familiar to many low band operators as the summertime or short skip on 10 meters. It is also responsible for most of the long distance contacts on the 6 meter band. It's the ionospheric E layer reflecting caused a small patch of unusually dense ionization. It's almost like it's ionized clouds up there is basically what it is, and it creates a layer that seems to like these particular frequencies. But it peaks out May through August, and really it's supposed to be later May through June is really when it's hot, and then waning off in July. Supports single hops or multi-hops. Its exact cause is not completely understood, although there's a lot of theories out there. But as you know, science is never settled, and this one really, there's still a lot of theories out there. When this does open up, there's been some neat reports of people that have gotten really long communications on this. So it's going to be interesting to see. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that real quick. When is the best time to use it? Here's your, this is from Club Log, and they did a little study using the anonymous data. You know how they do. And it looks like June, of course, June is the big month. So we want to all be ready by June. That's why I built that antenna today, and I'm getting that antenna up because I'm really wanting to be ready this year. I want to get a lot of contacts on 6. So June's the month. And if you look what time is the best time of day? Well, it seems to be a late afternoon, early evening thing. And I almost you got to kind of watch on this kind of stuff because this is skewed just a little bit by the number of people that are awake. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look, when you look at data, you always have to look at the data set. The data set's being done by folks that do this when they're awake. So there's, I don't know. But if it's a global data set, then of course, the anomaly won't be as bad. So I'm not sure how they did it, but it looks like late afternoon and early evening. Anyway, and by midnight, it starts to wane off really fast. My experience is not that. My experience is that it really runs between 1 and about 5:30 or 6, and it's done. And it really gets hot about 3 in the afternoon. That seems to be the heat of the day, seems to be when it seems to run for me when I'm doing my propagation monitoring here. All right. How do you know when to be on? Well, DX maps. You got to use your real-time maps. I got so many screens. Sometimes I have 4 maps up on this one screen over here. I'll have 4 of those PSK maps up at the same time with 6 meters, 10 meters, 20 meters. I'm monitoring everything. There's beacons. You guys can use beacons. You can go listen and see if you can hear these beacons on 50.060 and 50.080.
Are those AM or FM beacons?
I do not know. I've never tried that. I'm looking forward to trying that. Once I get my beam to where I can get it up there and spin it around this weekend, that'll be one of the first things I do. See if I can hear, because I can't hear these beacons now with my little extension cord wire in the yard. You got DX spotting networks, like we talked about. I don't know. That almost seems to be in there twice. But you can field days. I've been saying this for a while. I'm not in it to win it. I'm in it to fill it. I want to do my logbook. I want to get phone contacts in my logbook. And the best way to get phone contacts is contesting days. Join a contest. Do it. Learn the little stupid exchange and become very good at it. I love contesting. I'm putting together a contesting team. I love it so much. We're going to get our own call letters. It's going to be freaking awesome. But anyway, do the field days and the contests, and that's a great way to find people on 6 meters, and then just get on the air, check around, see what's going on. Now, DX maps, if you guys are not familiar with DX maps, you got to check that out. That's as far as I'm going to go. I'm not going to waste your time. PSK Reporter is my favorite. I love PSK Reporter. I've talked about everybody so much. I don't know if I need to go over it again, but it's just amazing. I'm not going to go down this, but this is just, okay, you guys already know all this. Okay, this is the WSJTX software. I'm sure there's probably also a JS8 call and all that other stuff too. But this works great on 6 meters. I made 2 contacts earlier on 6 meters. If you're wanting to make 6 meter contacts and you've never heard anybody on there, you could download the WSJX software, put it in your thing and hook it up. And if you get everything working, in a couple of days, you could start getting contacts. So you just got to figure out where to go, where to point your Yagi, whatever. Like I said, I put a wire out here behind here made out of an extension cord, and I was getting 6 meter and 10 meter contacts. I just had to wait. I had to figure out when to do it. You can't just go out there and switch up. But I'm not going to go through all this because you guys know all this stuff. I want to take you guys on a little tour yesterday. I was at work and I'm sitting there and I'm like, listen, I'm going to go to the PSK Reporter and see if that 2 meter, if that 6 meter opened up.
Holy cow.
2 meter opened up. Look at that. I was like, holy crap. That's 2 meters yesterday, 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Then 10 meters opened up over Europe yesterday at 4:40 in the afternoon. This was the number 2 band. And it was running wild yesterday. It was like ripping like wildfire through Europe. The only reason it was not the number 1 band yesterday was because 6 meters was the number 1 band in Europe for 2 hours yesterday. It was amazing. It gives me chills. Look at that. That's a lot of 6 meter.
Holy cow. Look at that.
Yeah,
Man.
that's a buttload of 6 meter. And anyway, and then here's 6 meter, number 1 band in Europe yesterday. That's what it looked like with all the bands combined. I want you to look at that. The red is the 6 meter, and that Barbie pink is the 10 meter, and it dominates. It dominates the 20. It dominates the 40. So it was the band in Europe yesterday. Didn't happen here. It just didn't happen over here. I also don't think 6 is quite as popular in the US as it is in Europe for some reason. Does anybody want to speak on that? Or anything so far up to now?
What I was gonna say is that WSJT software, even with the clock perfectly synchronized, like synced with Windows servers or with a special program, it will sometimes, when you first start it up, not pick up anything for the first 5-6 minutes that you have the program running, and then it will just randomly start working. Does that happen for you too?
Yes. How you can stop that is as soon as you start it up, go ahead and CQ.
Transmit out.
Once you CQ a couple times, it'll all start working. That's how it does it for me anyway. Yeah,
Okay.
you just got to go ahead and throw a CQ or I don't know if Tune will do it, but I know CQ. Just throw a CQ out there. It doesn't matter where, and you'll get something. Even if you don't get an answer, it doesn't matter. The main thing is it somehow kicks it in the butt and gets it going. I don't know. That program has some anomalies. I'll admit it. It does. They did an update that helped, but it's got some anomalies. This is a wider view of yesterday. And again, the Barbie pink is 10 meter and the red is 6 meter. Oh, wow. So cool. Yeah. Amazing. Repeaters. Did somebody say 6 meter repeaters?
I heard about those.
Yeah, I've never tried these. I've got a beam now. This weekend, I'm going to try to talk on one of these repeaters. I'm going to try to get it going, see if I can make a repeater contact. There isn't any here in Fort Myers that I can see. I don't know if anybody sees anything. There's one in Christmas. That's got to be pretty far away.
Wow, yeah, Christmas is several months out.
There's Naples. I don't know what CERA is, but yeah, there's one in Naples. That's the only close one, really. But I'm going to try to hit them anyway. A simple Google search will bring up any of this stuff, guys. You know that. So I'll leave it for just a second. But this is just there is 50 meter repeaters out there. There's no PL tones listed, so I don't think there's a PL tone. My radio will do PL on 50, but I don't think it needs to.
Wait, what are these?
Does anybody know?
No, look, it says 50? Tone. Some of them don't have a tone, but some do. Look, it says tone.
Well, I guess there is a tone. Yeah, I guess it is a regular PL tone there, isn't it?
Yeah. Some don't have them though. Still,
I was seeing the T and it was throwing me off. I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's a PL tone, 118.8, 94.8. So some are open squelch and some are PL tones. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, you would want to put a PL tone on
WB4TWQ,
or it would just sit there and kerchunk all night long.
Miami,
kind of like our 685's doing right now.
Someone's doing all kind of.
Oh, were you still looking at that, dude? I'm sorry. Let me put it back for a minute.
Well, that W4TWQ in Miami, there's a repeater close to here actually using that same call sign, which is yeah. Here we go. There's one right by here. I only hear Spanish people on there though for some reason. So anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Well,
you can continue.
There's a lot of Spanish folks in amateur radio. I'm starting. You can have more. Here's a dumb question that I don't know the answer to. You can have more than one repeater under your call sign, right?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So they're probably just a bunch of guys that got together and they put up some 3 or 4 repeaters, which is something I may do one day.
The Spaniards Amateur Radio Club.
There you go. All right, let's talk antennas. Of course, my favorite part of any discussion. 6 meters. I want to show you guys tonight how many cool ways there is to get on the air. And I want to start with a disclaimer that I'm going to show you some popular ways and tell you that there's 100 other ways that I'm not going to tell you about tonight because I don't have time. The first one is a Yagi, which of course would be my first choice. I think that the Yagi is, it's by far the best overall antenna that there is, as long as you've got a way to spin it and put it where you need to put it. The one on the upper left is the one I put together today. That's my 2 square Yagi there. That's not mine. God, I wish it was. Look how high that one is. It's above the trees.
Wow.
But that one is like mine. It's got the same spacing and the same design. And I put it together out in my yard today. and I got a perfect SWR on it. And I went, yeah. My wife come out. She goes, what are you yelling about? I'm such a nerd. All right. So anyway, I need to be put down. All right. So anyway, Yeagis are the way to go. 2 element, 3 element, 5 element. In my dreams, 40 element.
40 element.
Yeah, 50. Yeah, I want to do like a 70 element long periodical.
It's gonna be so pointy. It's gonna be.
It'd be like a big arrow. All right. So anyway, 6-meter loop. This looks pretty easy to build. What does this take to build? Seriously. I think I got everything to build this one right now in the shack. So I'm thinking about building this one. The loop's only going to be like what, 3 feet across. I don't have the exact dimensions on here, but I don't know. I'm going to build a bunch of 6-meter antennas and see which one works the best. What was that, Rick? I saw your lips moving.
A Moxon, MOXON.
Yeah, we're going to get to the Moxon. Believe it or not, the loop is square or round like this. The Moxon actually has a specific design. It's rectangular. We're going to get to that in just a second because I like that design as well. And that's why I got it in here. But yeah, this is the loop. And then you got the old J-pole. And this is like the industry standard right here. But I think this is about as big as you can go with one. It's a pretty good J-pole here.
Like a bird sitting at the top of that.
On. Yeah, I found that picture. I'm like, I'm going to use that picture. I like that. But there you go. Just your standard J-pole. And I've noticed a lot of people are graduating the size as they go up, which makes sense. But anyway, that's obviously easy ass to build too. And then you got, I found this today. I never heard of this till today, admitting it. 6-meter Delta loop. I think I want it just because it sounds cool. So what kind of antenna you got? I'm running a 6-meter Delta loop. I mean, that sounds cool. That's like all
badass name right there.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, but no, this is pretty cool too. And you can do different things between here. You can put like a curtain and things, but this is all wrapped down here. You can see it here in this picture. Kind of there's no good pictures of these wire antennas because how do you take a picture of a wire antenna? I think the best way to take it's with a bright spotlight against a black sky at night. But nobody does that. Anyway, this is it right here. The wire's actually running across this pipe. And then, of course, you've got a coil here built in.
Is that ladder line?
Across here. I don't believe so because it says printed spacers. So I think they're just running 2 to widen it out a little bit, widen the bandwidth out a little bit. As you know, if you run 2 or 3 or 4 wires across there, then your SWR will relax a little bit. You'll get a better SWR on a wider band. So I think that might be what that is. I don't think that's ladder line. And it certainly isn't up there. So I think it's simply they're using 2 pieces of wire just to increase the like I said, that, and also I think it increases your gain a little bit too. I found this to be really cool. This big one here, you literally hang
monkey bar antenna.
Huh?
Monkey bar antenna.
Yeah, it basically is a monkey bar antenna. Yeah, and the kids can play when they come over. But yeah, I like this. Just like with any Yagi, you've only got one driven element you have to deal with. The rest is just hanging crap in a tree. And basically it's organized garbage hanging in a tree. But there you go. You could build this as long as you want. I thought that was kind of cool. You literally just build these things and hang them from a wire that you string between 2 trees. The bad part, there's no way to spin it around. It's kind of aiming wherever it's aiming. This would be good like if you were in Key West and you wanted to do nothing but talk to the United States. This would be great. Let's see here. Ground plane. I don't need to go over that, do I? I mean, this was pretty straightforward. We can all build these in our sleep. This was an interesting one. An OCF sleeve dipole vertical. What is that again, Bob? Well, it's a 6-meter OCF sleeve dipole vertical. That's awesome. You know what I need is an Ed McMahon going, "You are correct, sir. Yes." Anyway, the OCF short vertical dipole, or HF, has become popular, particularly designed as a flagpole. This is designed to be, you know, stealthy because it's just a single pole, and you can see there it's pretty benign when it's up. There's not really much to it. But I thought I would add this in here if anybody wants to put that in their Google browser for later. That's the 6-meter OCF sleeve dipole, and there is a full build out online that you can download the PDF. There's the full build out with all these.
That's also known as a flower pot antenna.
Oh, is it really?
Yes, and the person who invented it died about 2 months ago.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, there we go. You know, there's so many people that have built things that are gone now, and God bless them. They've yeah. Okay. 6-meter. There's your Moxon. And I hear nothing but good things about this one, mostly from Rick. But yeah, this one's a good one here. And another one that what does that take to build? I think I can build that. I can build this out of PVC pipe tomorrow, and then just have the wire pieces go around and just have the PVC go up like that. I mean, how hard is it? Yeah. So there you go. And of course, you've got the 50-meter quad, 50 megahertz quad. Look at that, man. That's pretty cool. This is nothing but just literally just wires stretched around two solid pieces of something. And now if I was building this, I would use fiberglass for these because I would not want them to be conductive. But you could make it conductive. You just have to add that into your measurements. Anyway, always wanted a quad. You know why I want a quad? Because a quad gives you both vertically and horizontally polarized equalization. You can use it for either one.
Ooh.
All right, hex beam antenna. I love this one. This reminds me of what happens when the wind blows too hard with your umbrella. This is a great one here because it's directional. It's basically it's an alien version of the Yagi. I think if I had this,
How do you know which way to point it?
You'll see there's a front. Where's it at? It's right here. See, where's it at? Yeah, it's right here. This is the front. There's actually one side of this antenna is actually curved. The wires do not go all the way around. The wires go around all except one segment of the hex. The wires go in and back out again. And that's where they connect. They connect there in that, and then they go out. And the way it's done, wherever that's pointing, that is the front of the antenna. And the back, of course, is actually quite good at excluding. So I've heard nothing but good things. We got a guy that one of our members comes to field day with one of these and sets it up and beats all our butts with CW. So there you go. All right, there we go. Fan dipole. I put this in because I built this one the other day. I built this one months ago, and then I rebuilt it the other day. This one's easy to build because your 6-meter, your 10-meter, you can build this for 6-meter and 10-meter. And the overall length, as you can see, is only 16 feet. You can literally do what I did, take an old extension cord, split it out, take the wires. I took a block of wood about this big, okay? And all you do is you put 2 screws in the block of wood about 2 inches apart, and you bring your wire up with your 2 horseshoe connectors on it. Your positive and your negative go underneath the screws along with I take a wire. Okay, this is how easy it is to build one of these. You take a long piece of wire that you can buy anywhere, a piece of stock, a piece of copper wire, or a piece of extension cord, whatever you want to use. It can be strenuous or solid. It doesn't matter. It can be copper, aluminum. It can be anything. It doesn't matter as long as it's not bamboo. And you stretch this all the way out. And what you do is you add 9 feet to 16 feet. Okay. Well, actually, that's total. You add 8 and 4 together. So that gives me 8, 9, 10, that's 12. So 12 feet. So I make two 12-foot sections. And then what I do is I bend them around the screws at 8 and 4 feet, 8 foot from one end and 4 foot from the other. I go down, I measure 4 feet, and I bend it around the screw right at 4 feet. So now it goes, each one goes around the screw and they're bent right back out again. Okay. So the bottom two are 6 meters and the top two are 10 meters. It's all just one big long continuous piece of wire. If it's got the coating on it, you can leave it on it. It doesn't matter. You do have to take it off where it goes on the screw, obviously, where the electricity goes in. But that's all it is. It's 2 screws, 2 washers, 2 long pieces of copper wire, and a block of wood. That's it. And I hooked it up to a little short piece of coax that I then hooked up a barrel connector to, and I hooked up a little extension cord into my shack. And I've been talking on the windmill net with that. I've been making contacts all over the place with that on 10 meters and 6 meters. So I'm just telling you guys how easy it is to get on the air with these bands. You don't need much. And if you're in an HOA, you can put this in your attic. You can build it right into your attic. You just staple it right along the attic up there. We'll make a fan dipole for whatever bandwidth you want. If you want to throw 2 meter on the bottom of it, you literally could throw 2 meter on the bottom of it and hook it up to your 2 meter radio, and it'd work for that. I don't. It's amazing to me that you can do that. It's like the energy goes down the wire, and it's like, how does it know which one to go to? Anyway. All right. So does anybody have anything on the antenna part of this? You guys are either a tough crowd or an easy crowd. I'm not sure which.
Well, I don't have a lot of expertise in any of these areas.
Yeah, neither do I. That's the problem. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I know all my Elmer friends here that I'm looking at would correct me if I'm wrong. I hope. Please do. Okay. So, and then the last thing is,
There's no balance.
there's actually a song written about it. I don't know if you guys heard this song. There's actually a song written about the Magic Band.
Oh, that's gotta be tough to listen to.
It's the Magic Band. You guys buy the album. It's called the Magic Band. All right. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my little tour through Sporadic E. What I'd like to do now is see if there's anybody out there that has any experiences or any experiences. That was the word I was looking for, and I already said it. About a 6 meter, 10 meter, the magic openings that happen with Sporadic E. I'd love to hear some stories. Come now. Okay, let's just go home.
Hello, Ian. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
Okay. That last antenna you showed me, the fan dipole. Wouldn't there be a unan or a balun there?
Not necessary. Not necessary at all. I was very surprised. I couldn't get over the fact that I needed something else. But I literally just, there's no hairpin turn, there's no coil, there's no crap. I got 2 wires come out of my radio, go through a piece of coax. They come out to 2 bare wires that I put horseshoes on. They go right under the screws, washers, wires loop through the screws, and then I tighten them down. I'm done. And then on the end, the longest one, I got isolators on the end. Actually, I don't have isolators. I got bungee cords, but bungee cords are great isolators. I got a bungee cord on each end, and it bungee cords to 2 trees. And then underneath it hangs the 6 meter. And I literally I used a non-conductive material. It's this professional stuff that we use. There's a name for it, duct tape. And I actually put a piece of duct tape about 8 inches long down below the other one, and it ends my other one. And those are my spacers, and the other one just hangs below the first one.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's a great solution.
I swear to God, that's all it is. It's literally made out of a junkyard. So, and it's nothing but a piece of extension cord, a block of wood, 2 screws, 4 washers, and a piece of coax that has one end. And it's real easy to find coax with one end at the swap shop.
You mean what do you mean one end? Just like already has a connector on it?
Yeah, because one end's always cut off.
Oh.
I've got a bunch of wire. I love pieces of wire that are like 40 foot long and then the end's cut off, because I build an antenna and just wire that right into the antenna, bring it right into the shack, and now I have no connectors to weather seal or nothing.
Yeah.
And then when I'm all done with the antenna, finally, I buy that paint on
liquid tape,
electrical tape, and
yeah,
I just paint it all over the screws.
They have a spray
all,
form
all
of that
around
too.
the wire and all that crap, and then I put some black tape around that to protect that usually, and that's it. That's all I do. And they're good for a year like that, and I take them down and service them because they're homemade. I mean, most of my stuff's homemade. I have gotten some stuff given to me lately. I've got a Ringo Ranger. I've got 2 Ringo Rangers that were given to me, so I'm starting to get some neat commercial, made stuff that I really like. Those Ringo Rangers are really nice. The problem is, most people bought the Ringo Ranger, but they didn't bother to put the ground thing on the bottom. And if you bought it and you didn't get the ground thing, it's called a Ringo, and they don't work worth a crap unless you have the ground thing. And the problem is, the ground thing doesn't go at the bottom of the Ringo. It actually goes like 3 feet below it, and you got to do it just right. But if you do it just right, the Ringo Ranger is an amazing antenna. All right. Would anybody have any stories about the magic? Nobody's rode the magic?
Oh, of course. Couple of times. Most recently, several years ago, I was part of a field day operation up in North Georgia with the QRP group up there. I had my little MFJ single sideband 6-meter radio, and they were all on CW, and I made as many points on that. With that, the band opened up mostly into Canada and points north from North Georgia, and I made as many points for that as they did on CW, on the HF bands. So that was a lot of fun. And one time at the air base at the Biloxi, when I was there, stationed there for a while, we had a 6-meter opening. We had put a 6-meter antenna up about 50 feet. And the band opened up, and we had the antenna pointed to the northwest, and caused a pileup. All these stations in Washington State came in. So it's a pretty long trip from Biloxi, Mississippi to Washington State, but I was able to make a bunch of contacts up that way. And that thing opens up, particularly if you've got a good antenna, it really does, it can do some spectacular stuff.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it. I really am. I'm so looking forward to it that I bought my antenna for it months ago, and I've been waiting to put it together. I just got it all put together.
I put my 3-meter pushcraft beam. I got 3 elements of pushcraft 6-meter beam.
All right, I'm gonna just let me indulge me here for just a second. I'm having a little audio issue here. I don't know what the hell.
It's his audio. He's got really low audio.
Yeah. All right. Well, and mine's low on my end too. So when someone's low on your end, I really notice it. Okay. I think I just, I don't know. Let's try that. I can't. Okay. Yeah. I think that's better. I can no longer hear myself, but I can hear you guys louder. So let's just leave it like that. I've got a mix minus over here. So I mix myself back in with the signal. So I know what it sounds like when it's all together. But that's not working, so that's fine. Okay, let's see where we're at. Let's go ahead and finish up any discussion that we have on the 6-meter stuff. Anything on 6-meter? I wanted to just mention on Amazon, and I'm not going to sit here and plug radios or plug where to buy them or whatever, but I went on Amazon just looking around, and if you're looking for a little project, I mean, I'm thinking about buying one of these little $200 eventually when I get things going again. $200 sideband radio, 10-meter sideband radio, under $200. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I could take that, hook it to its own computer. Boom, that's another FT8.
It's a CB.
Yeah. Basically.
Looks like a CB at least.
Yeah, there's some on there that look like a CB. There's some that look more like a ham radio, but there is very cheap versions out there of stuff. So if you're looking for something to play with, you know, you don't need an $800 radio. You can, you know, and I strongly suggest if anybody's not on HF, I strongly suggest going to the club and making payments on a radio. That's what I'm doing. I'm paying off my FT100 right now. I paid off my ICOM 756 with Tom Lambie. I do it like everybody else. But I strongly suggest if you haven't got an HF radio, don't wait until you can buy a new one. Okay. Pre-loved radios work great. What was that, Rick?
I said you don't need a brand new. I started out with secondhand radios and did great with it.
In fact, you're probably best off your first 3 months on some old piece of crap, some old boat anchor. Learn the radio first, because when you get these new radios, you end up so drowning in menus and crap. And I hit a button and I don't know how to turn that back off. And oh my God, I'm old. My hair's falling out. And
there's been a TX440 on sale on the SwapNet Monday night SwapNet the last 2 or 3 weeks, and he wants like $300 for it. That would be an excellent radio to start out with.
Yep.
Those are great radios.
And especially if you're wanting to do digital modes, don't spend money on some radio with a big, huge, beautiful waterfall display and it makes toast in the back. You don't care about none of that. When you're doing FT8, you set it and forget it. You just put it on. So all I'm saying is buy you a $200 or $300 or $400 radio, buy you an FT100. The FT100 is the best starter radio there ever was. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you can listen all the way up to a gigahertz. You can talk on every amateur band there is, and you can even mod it to get on, what is it, 30 or 60 or whatever that one is I can't get on right now, 60. You can even mod it for that. I just haven't done it yet because I'm not sure if I'm smart enough. But anyway, I like to buy a radio. I bought this big, huge radio, and then I'm working it to death on FT8. And that's when I went and bought that FT100 from the club. And I'm like, I'll hook up right into the sound card. No fancy connection, no interface, no BS, no nothing. I have no rig control or anything. I just set the radio on the FT8 frequency I'm using. I manually tune it with my manual tuner. Yeah, I'm old school. And then I just go over there and I use it all day long. And I literally have the speaker on the radio plugged into the microphone on the computer, and the speaker on the computer wired into the old microphone cable that I took off the thing and wired it into. And all I did was go online and make sure that there was no phantom power. And then when I made sure there was no phantom power, I just connected the 2 mic wires to the 2 mic wires. Even I could do it. And so there's no reason not to be on FT8. If you got an HF rig, there's just no reason not to be on FT8. You don't have to even have pinouts in the back or any of that kind of stuff. You can use the headphone plug. Let me tell you something you can do right now. You may not realize. Take a simple patch cable, right? Everybody's got patch cables. We've all got these. Come out of the headphone plug on your radio and plug it into the speaker. If you've never done digital modes before in your life, you can come out of your radio, speaker, headphone, and go into your computer, microphone, download WJSTX, and you could watch traffic in 3 minutes. You could be watching what's going on the bands. And then all we have to do is just figure out how to hook your mic up, and you're on FT8. But you could literally be listening to it in 3 minutes. You could be watching the thing go up and the whole bit. There seems to be this thing about, digital's just too. It's not. FT8's so stupid easy. Now, JS8 call, there's other ones that are more difficult, I'll admit, that are a lot more difficult. Joseph, every time I look down, I think you're a Borg. I start to get all nervous. That resistance is futile.
Resistance is 10 kilo ohms.
Yes.
Why is it because I'm sitting like this?
Yeah. Well, every time you turn to the side, I'm expecting that laser to come around.
Oh,
but anyway. All right. Let's see. We've got a lot of new folks in here. I don't want to go down the whole list because it's just a lot of folks, but I want to open it up now. Does anybody have anything on Sporadic E, 610 meters, 2 meters, anything like that, or any of the things we've talked about tonight? Come now, because I'm going to move it to an open part of the meeting if there's nothing else. Okay, either I completely covered it or I sucked so bad you all are laughing at me.
No.
All right. Well, all right, then let's put that to bed. That doesn't mean you can't bring it back up because I love talking about it. I want to tell you guys, the next thing I want to talk about, it's lightning season's coming. Oh my God.
Ooh, hey, that's, I was just thinking about telling you about something for a future TechNet, and then you talk about lightning. So.
Well, lay it on me. What you want to do? Right. Lightning.
So, everybody's got their big antennas and stuff, and they want to worry about lightning. You can get one of these. It is a little device, costs about $20 on Amazon, and what it does is it detects lightning, and it's made by a company called Accurite, which makes other weather stations and stuff. And for $20, this thing works really, really well. And so I recommend one of these if you got a tower outside, because you can just have this sitting on somewhere. If you're indoors, sometimes it will say interference detected, so you might want to find like a windowsill to set in or something. But these little things, man, these are really good. They cost like $20 and they are amazing.
And if you did POTA and stuff like that, that would be something that would be on the Go box.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I could see that as being something that would definitely be on the Go box. Let's see here. I wanted to show you guys the wind map here. Let's see if I can do it from here.
Show them Blitzer tongue, and there's another lightning monitoring network too.
Yeah, there's a lot of great websites and apps now. Windy.com, I'm going to tell you guys, is one of my favorites.
Oh, mine too. Yeah.
Yeah, I love windy.com, and I'll tell you why. I'll show you guys real quick why. All right, this is windy.com. Let me make this full screen. That's the lightning. Okay. Anytime there's lightning, it shows the shockwave coming out from the lightning. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something that's real cool about this. This is so freaking accurate. I can sit here and put this up on a screen. It auto refreshes. It'll stay up all day. It's one of those cool maps that'll actually do that. Most of them won't. I leave this up in the shack on one of my 15 screens. And when something comes up, it puts the little circles on. I swear to you, the moment that circle reaches my shack, I hear the thunder. It shows that at the speed of sound. And so it's basically the sound wave or the shock wave, whatever you want to call it, coming out from the lightning strike. It's accurate as hell. And sometimes I'll have two coming in at the same time, and you can actually hear them coming in, two different ones. I don't know. I love windy.com. They have an app. They also have a great website. And I also have it on the TechNet. You can go right up here under weather. I have some great ones that'll do that. The other really cool one is I have the lightning tracker on here. This one, I found this to be probably, I don't care about cookies. This one's probably one of the best websites for the lightning as far as the real time is very good. It shows lightning up in X's that turn from white to dark red, depending on how old they are. And it shows up new ones, it'll flash when there's new ones and stuff. This one's pretty cool too. And both of these are available on the TechNet. And then if you just look on them, you can see the originating website on there. I don't cover it up, so you can go find where it comes from. But this one's really cool. The white ones are new, and the darker they get, of course, the older it gets. But that one's really cool. There was a new one. See that? I like that. I always keep one of these up a lot during season. But let me tell you something else that's really cool. On your grid tracker program, there's a button with a lightning bolt on it. I'm not going to load it up just to show you a button with a lightning bolt on it. But when you click that button, it turns on a lightning tracker. And when there's lightning, like 40 miles from your house,
it'll come on and play the sound of lightning and go, lightning detected, lightning detected. So there's a lot of really cool ones out there. So I keep the grid tracker one turned on too. And I
hurricanes. It's also interesting to watch the lightning in those.
Yep. And I want to tell you guys real quick. I'm big on websites, on different websites, and one that I use here that I really like, that I think is he's not a professional meteorologist. I want you guys to understand that, but the information that he gives you is trusted information from good sources. It's called Mike's Weather Page. For those of you who have never seen Mike's Weather Page, this is slowly becoming like the unofficial authority for hurricanes. What an amazing resource. This guy comes on when there's hurricanes out there. He comes on twice a day and does like a 2-hour show where he kind of like we're doing now almost, but more of a one guy show where he just talks about the hurricane, what it's doing, where it's going, looking at all the tracks, the spaghetti models, checking this out, checking out, runs all the models for you, runs everything, does it all. So if you're a complete and total weather geek like me, and you love hurricanes really a lot like me, this is the guy. I'm telling you, this is the website right here. Really good website. He's always got his daily briefings up here. When storms come, he'll have all the maps for the active storms right in this column. They all come right here. Really easy to find everything. Boom, 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 load it up. He'll have all the advisories. Everything will come up in this column. And then he's got all the resources you'd ever need on here. He's got a bunch of different weather tweets from all the meteorologists come up on here. So this is my favorite page during hurricane season. I visit it like 9 times a day. This is one of the ones that Trey, we talked on the air a while back, and he told me, he says, can you unplug from your phone? And I said, well, it depends. I said, I'm the guy that gets up to pee and checks the 2 a.m. forecast while he's peeing. Because I gotta know, dude, that intermediate might have some new information in it or something. I don't know. So I'm weird about that. I'll be standing there at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I didn't change anything. It's terrible. But I'm a total geek when it comes to hurricanes. So I just wanted to show you guys. I mentioned this last week and couldn't think of the name. I totally spaced it. But this is my favorite hurricane website here, and it's called Mike's Weather Page. So check that out. And it's spaghettimodels.com. It's an easy way to find it, spaghettimodels.com, or just type Mike's Weather Page into Google. And back to hurricanes. I know you guys got fancy switches that ground everything out. You know what poor folks like me do? This is my hurricane. This is my lightning protection right here. It's a quick disconnect. I disconnect the wire and hang it on the wall behind the radio. I got about 6 of these. I'm slowly connecting them for her. I take them off because I don't like them. I think every time you put a coupler in a coax line, you need to deduct 5 or 10%. And so to take them off until we get a lightning season, I'm in the process of putting them all back on. I've got like 7 of them I'm going to put on. My Baofengs that run the streaming radios, they're going to stay up. They're just going to be sacrificed if lightning hits. Lots of Baofengs have gave their life in the service of ham radio. I'll show you guys real quick on the streaming radios.
Oh yeah, let's see that.
Everybody has a Baofeng, right? I mean,
yeah.
You got to have a Baofeng, or as I call it, the swimming pool radio, because you wouldn't carry your ICOM next to the swimming pool, would you?
I might.
I wouldn't. I carry a Baofeng when I'm near the swimming pool. Anyway,
Air the water to take the radio.
Well, and I actually have a watertight Baofeng, the UV9R, which is pretty cool. But anyway, when you get your Baofeng, right, and you want to, let's say you want to hook this up for something. I showed you guys last week. I have a, I don't know where it went, but I have the adapter that hooks into here and hooks up to your computer for WinLink, right? And it does both the transmit and receive, and it costs about $20. But if all you want is the receive side of the radio, I went and bought this. It's much easier. It's a 1/8 inch to a 16th inch, 1/8 inch to 1/16 inch, because on the Baofeng, the headphone is the top one. It's the small one. It's the 1/16 inch. So I bought the 1/16 inch to go in there. It goes in there, 1/8 inch right into your computer, and now you can stream whatever's on this radio over your computer. It's that simple. The wire's $3 at Amazon, and
Amazon Prime.
That's all you got to do right there. No fancy crap. You don't need all the fancy crap. Everybody believes that you need to have boxes with blinking lights in order to connect radios to computers, and you do not. That's a sound card. That'll connect your radio to the computer right there. You plug it in, USB 2, USB 3, either one. And that is a headphone, one of the new style headphone plugs, whatever they call it, the one with the 3 bands. Yep. Now, let's say you don't want to do it that way. Let's say you want to do it a different way. You want to do it the old-fashioned way. Well, they make the same thing.
I have that exact one.
Yeah, I got 3 different kinds. Let's see if there's a name on this one. It says
That's right.
Vention, I think it says. So anyway, but this basically gives you audio in and out on 2 separate plugs. So now I take this and I connect it to that wire I just connected to my Baofeng and plug it right there. And now I can stream my Baofeng right into my computer. And I can record it with a recording program like Audacity or Adobe Audition. I can do anything I want with it. I can stream it, whatever. I can just listen to it through my headphones if that's what I want to do with it. All right, so all that's really cool. And I also mentioned last week my favorite handheld radio. I've been asked by like a bunch of people, what should I buy? What should I buy? So many people will give you great advice. Everybody in here can give you great advice on what radio to buy in the $100 to $300 range, because most people buy radios in that range because they're good radios. They're ICOMs, they're Kenwoods, they're Yaesu. I'm kind of the guy that buys the cheap radios. And so I mentioned last week that there's a specific radio that of all the radios I bought, and I've got 9 Chinese portable radios, okay? And I have 4 Chinese mobile style radios. 2 of those have already blown up and are in the parts pile. So I've already smoked a magic smoke. But I just want to show you guys, if I was going to recommend a radio, and I don't recommend a lot, and I don't know these people, but if you're going to buy a cheap Chinese radio, this one you can get for about $600 or $60, $60, $70 in that range, $60 to $70. And it's an amazing radio. You don't need the extended battery. The battery lasts forever, 3 days. Battery lasts 3 days on. It'll last for 8 or 10 hours under normal use. It's got crossband repeat.
What? It's on a handheld?
Yeah. What? Crossband repeat. Now, let me tell you something. It's got a crappy duty cycle. So what I do, you're not going to believe this. I bought one and made a crossband repeater out of it. And notice on the back, I got Velcro here. When I'm going to use this as a crossband repeater, I've got the battery eliminator hooked up to it. This is my crossband, so I can go walk around the yard and still listen to the AC4TM or whatever. So I got this. I hook it up to my big antenna. Everything works great. Problem is, it overheats really fast. If there's like a net going on, this bitch will like burst into flames. So what I have to do is I have a fan that Velcros on the back like that, and it goes brrr, and it blows air on the top of this thing like a hurricane the whole time that it's on.
You gotta hack that thing open, man, and put a heat sink in there or something.
I know.
On the final.
hacking Chinese radios open, not as
No, it's
easy as
super
you think.
easy. No, it's super
Really?
easy, especially those Baofengs. It's like 2 screws.
Okay. I like my Baofengs. I haven't taken them apart yet. My mother told me a long time ago, she goes, honey, if you like something, don't take it apart right away. Anyway, so I just wanted to mention that is my favorite radio. I carry this thing everywhere. I've had this radio for 9 months. I carry it everywhere I go. I take it to work every day. It's always on my side. I listen to my FM radio on it. It's my monitor to make sure our radio station's on the air, has FM broadcast band. It's got a very wide band. Buy yours now before the new FCC band goes into effect, where it'll only transmit. Right now, this thing transmits on like
everywhere. Yeah, pretty much.
Like 125 to like 200. Which you don't need it, but it's nice, if the end of the world ever did happen, it's nice to have one that will do just about everything. But anyway, I don't want to sound like a salesman. I've never mentioned the name, but it's a great radio. If you're going to buy a $30 Baofeng, buy a $70 one of those, and you're going to get a radio that's 5 times the radio. It's a great radio. All right. The last thing I wanted to mention that I had on my list is Mouses Without Borders. You guys heard of it?
I heard you talking about it this morning.
It's a neat program. It's called Mouses Without Borders. Look it up. It's made by Microsoft Garage. If you've got 2 computers on your desk and 2 keyboards and 2 mouses, you're going to want to listen to what I'm about to tell you. Microsoft Garage is an amazing thing because what it does is you can connect up to 4 computers to the same keyboard and mouse, and you do it all through one of your computers. So what's great about it is there's no equipment that you need to buy. It's just a little bit of setup. Probably not the easiest setup I ever did, but it's not that difficult. But it's called Microsoft Garage, and it's called
Mouse Without Borders, not Mouses, I think, unless you
yes, Mouse Without Borders. You're correct. Yeah, here I'm trying to pull up a screenshot, so I'd rather show people than tell them, because that way I'm accurate. But this is it right here. Basically, it's for people with multiple computers. It's free, doesn't cost nothing. Basically what it does is you go in there and you set it up, and your mouse can run across over to the other computer. Now, I've got 2 computers set up on it right now with 6 screens. So right now, and let me tell you the other thing that's really cool. If I go to that computer and I control copy, I can then scroll over to this computer and control paste. Is that not the coolest thing in the world?
That is pretty cool.
I had well, I'll have to tell you about that later. It was so cool, dude. When I first saw that you could copy and paste, you could use the same keyboard. Whatever window you click into, your mouse, your keyboard works on that window, no matter what computer it's on. I'm now in the process of connecting these 2 computers, and they're 4 screens to it. So eventually I'm going to have 4 computers and 10 screens by the end of the weekend, hooked up to 1 keyboard and 1 mouse, so that I'll be able to sit here at master control and be able to scroll my crap from one end of I'll literally be able to mouse my butt from one end of the shack to the other and back, and not have to get up or do anything. And that's going to be so awesome. So try it out. Mouses Without Borders. It works with multi-screens. It works with multi-levels and everything else. It's not perfect. I'm having some workarounds and stuff because I'm using so many screens with so many computers. It kind of likes to vapor lock, but it's stable right now with the 4 screens on this computer and the 2 screens on that computer. It's stable. I might just leave that alone. I haven't decided yet, but it does work.
Is if you could drag and drop something from a Linux box to a Windows box, or the other way around.
Okay, that would require FM. Do you have any FM?
FM as in no static at all?
No, FM is in freaking magic. You would need magic to do that. There's no. I'm just screwing with you, dude. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be fun. But we could at least do it with Windows machines at this point. Yeah. I also once you set this up, it takes a minute to figure it out, get it set up on the two machines. But once it connects for the first time, it'll start with Windows each time. It works every time. And as long as both machines are running, it works. What I also like about it is when I dial in with TeamViewer, it doesn't interfere with TeamViewer. It basically disables itself while TeamViewer is taking control of the mouse, which I like. That way I don't have any weird crap going on. And my God, TeamViewer, I'm going to tell you guys, of all the programs out there that I have just absolutely fallen in love with, it's got to be TeamViewer. It's completely free for personal use, which I think is amazing. Here, I'll show you guys. Let me pull this up here.
TeamViewer is, you can bring up TeamViewer on a Linux box and go into a Windows box, or the other way around.
Yeah, you can.
Well, I'm sure it'll work with Mac too.
I have this set up here to where if I want to dial in on my to my other computers here, I can literally just double click this. And I have this set up to where I just double click this and it will literally sign me into my other computer. I've never tried this while I'm in a Zoom meeting. Oh, wait, I'm clicking into this computer. Dumb. Yeah. Let's see. It's pulling it up over here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me stop share it again, because I was sharing the actual window and not the screen. So let me there we go. If I share this, I think you can see it now.
Hey, what is that VU meter? What program is that?
I found it's called Peak Level Meter. Let's see. And the other one's called PPM Quad and PPM ME12. You can see the icons for them here, and there.
Peak Level Meter, PPM Quad, and PPM ME12. I've been looking for a program that does that.
They're cool. They're flaky. When you get a bunch of sound things running at the same time, it gets a little flaky. But just to show you guys, this is actually a feed that's live right now. For the Fort Myers Amateur Radio Club frequencies, is scanning about 7 frequencies. This one is right now. It's everything but the 680 and the two main ones, the W4LCO. It's everything else but those two.
Somebody talking right now?
No, that's just line noise. All right, let me get out of this one. This wasn't the one I was going to show you.
Okay, sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine. I want you guys to just talk. There's no formalities here. I don't want the formalities. And we can work. This is the one we need to work on, because this is the one that keeps going offline.
You were telling me it keeps going offline, but I'm still a bit confused about I guess it seems like the internet side of things is where it's going offline at.
No, because the other stream's still up. My SARnet stream's up. See, yeah. SARnet's up, but it says this one's up. And when I go to status, it says it's sending okay. But if I go there, it says it's not up.
So,
but this one stays up. Whatever one I turn on first stays up.
Whichever one you turn on first.
That's why I think it's a conflict with sound cards. Because notice this happens too.
The meter loses its.
Yeah. It loses the fun in the middle. Yeah. So
it's very interesting.
Yeah. So this is my conundrum this week. That's why after beating my head up against this for a while, I went out and built an antenna. You know what calms me? Building a Yagi calms me. All right. So anyway, but yeah, this just kind of shows you what my different connections. And my other one went down here, but I got it back up. So let's see if we can pull this one up. Come on, baby. Oh, here it comes. And here's my third computer that I can pull up.
And notice it's on. This is currently the one I'm using for FT8. And this is how I can dial in from my bedroom. I can dial in from work. I can dial in from anywhere on my tablet. But this is how I work FT8. And I just dial in from anywhere. I want you guys to know something else. I got a QRZ subscription given to me. And wow, dude, once you get your QRZ subscription, whoa, what happened here? I don't want that. Quit that. Once you get QRZ, once you click on somebody and you call them, all their information comes up now. And I was like really surprised. Let me see if I can get it to do it here. Look at this. It pulls up everything. It pulls up their picture. It pulls up everything about them. I was like, wow, that's really cool. Before it only pulled up like the FCC stuff, you know, and it pulls up everything. I could even click that link button and it pulls right up an email screen, right from my grid tracker. If I want to send this guy a QSL card electronically, I can click there, drag my QSL card in, and it hits send. I've actually thought about doing that, but I don't know. Anyway, but look at this. It gives me every bit of information. It even gives me his azimuth, his grid, how many miles away he was. Notice this guy was really far away. You guys see how close he was? That's W8IX. He's like down. I can almost throw a rock and hit his antenna. But anyway, it shows me everything about this guy. I just thought this was really cool. And then up top, let me get rid of that. Up top, it shows me last time I worked him, what confirmations I've had, and what bands I've worked with that country, all right there at the top. And all that information comes up without me soliciting it, and it comes up unlimited. I can do it as many times as I want. And I just thought that was really cool. So every time I click, I want to talk to this guy, or if a guy calls me on FT8, that immediately pops up. And the reason I get all that extra information is because I'm a data subscriber on QRZ, which is where I keep my primary logbook. That and Logbook of the World, they're both current.
That is
and
super
there's that
cool.
lightning. There's that lightning tracker. You click that right there. And then when there's lightning, it plays a file. You guys won't be able to hear it anyway from here, but it'll
You
play
choose your own file to play?
Yeah. With a lot of these, you can choose your own file to play. Yeah. A lot of them, you can type in whatever word you want it to say. And it does say dirty words.
No, of course you would have tried it.
I've got a son-in-law, dude.
What was that, Steve 3? Some Steve just popped up.
What are you on?
One of those, someone turned on their, was trying to say something.
Oh, well, hey, Steve's in there, W3SKP. What's up, buddy?
He's muted. Hey, man, your audio is muted. We can't hear you. There we go.
Okay, how's that?
Yeah, we got you. What's up, buddy?
Okay, yeah, I'm up in Pennsylvania right now. I'm sitting in a bar room with my buddy, and I wanted to see how this thing worked, and looks like it's working all right. I don't know about my video.
Your video looks fine. In fact, when you first came on, I said, oh, look, he's at Lunch Bunch.
I mean, you get seasick when you watch it too closely.
Yeah, make him full screen and have another drink. Yeah.
I got to figure this out a little bit. This is new to me.
But it's working. So anyway, all right. But that's how I dial in. Is I basically and what I wanted to show you, let me get back to that screen. In TeamViewer, you can set up all your computers in TeamViewer ahead of time. And then all you have to do from any computer is go to this TeamViewer, open it up. It loads automatically in the background with Windows. So when the power goes out, all my computers come back up. Team viewer comes back up. I can then dial in and get everything going again from wherever I'm at. I've actually tested this where I've shut off the power to the shack, waited about a minute, turned it back on, and made sure that everything will. I'm gonna go ahead and mute Steve. But that way you can. You know, I tested everything to make sure that everything would come up and the team viewer would load, and that way I can get back in. Eventually, I may have it to where it'll go further along, and maybe even things will go back online on their own. There's things like WinLink. With WinLink, or no, EchoLink. I get those wrong. EchoLink. With that one, all you have to do is start the program, and your node goes back online. So all you have to do is go into Windows and set that up in your startup to start that up. Once everything else is done, the last thing it does is start EchoLink. And then it would literally, after the power outage, it would start your node back up on its own. So that's pretty cool. I don't think that Broadcastify will do that. I think it's good. That will take human intervention, but I'm still working on that, figure out a way to do that. All right. So that's that. Anybody have any questions about any of that stuff?
I don't know. Sorry. Wish I did.
No, you're fine. All right. All right. Well, let's open it up to anybody that has anything they want to bring up tonight. And by the way, we are broadcasting on YouTube, and we are, as I said at the beginning, we're broadcasting on YouTube, and it will be saved on YouTube. So you'll be able to go back. You can go back anytime now and watch our videos. You don't even have to wait for me to put them up anymore. I allow YouTube to go ahead and publish them, and then I go back the next day and trim them up or do whatever needs to be done.
I wondered about that.
Yeah, I don't even think I've trimmed last week's up yet. It don't matter. Well, I like to cut the rag chew off, and I like to start with a clean start. But
did you
and I'll probably do that.
Did you fix where the website says you can't watch it on the website?
Yeah, I haven't figured that out yet, but I will. It is set right now to allow embedding. So if it's set to allow embedding, why would it not allow embedding? It's YouTube. I have to figure it out. Is there some other setting somewhere else I got to do?
Maybe. I went looking for it the night I told you about the problem.
Remember, YouTube's is Google. Google is kind of like government.
Yep. Very much so.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how I look at it. Anyway, the last thing I wanted to mention was the tech team. I'm putting together a tech team, a competition team. I'm looking for people to join. I'm not looking for money. I don't want a membership fee. We'll figure out how we're going to put stuff together and finance stuff later. I
have a few questions about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you say a tech team. What exactly would we be doing if we were on the team? If there was a team, what would we do? Just like random stuff that we come up with, or would it be like I don't know. I don't know much about this yet. I guess that's my question.
The answer is yes.
I like that answer. All right, man.
The team. Look, the team would do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. Our clubs here do not do contesting. Our clubs here do not do contesting. I'll say that again. Okay?
They don't?
Nope. We got a guy down in Naples that does some POTA stuff, and we do 2 field days. Other than that, we do an event that's during the week that most people can't go to. And other than that, that's about it. Nothing against the club. The club does a lot of other really cool stuff that we're not going to do. I'm not going to do socials and award banquets, and I'm not going to do any of that crap. What I'm looking is I want a group of like 10 or 15 people that will maybe even host an HF rig at your house or maybe, whatever. I'm not looking for people to give money. What I'm looking for is people to say, look, I want to be on this team. I want to learn how to do this. I want to do that. I don't have a set exactly of what we're going to do yet, because I don't want it to be that rigid. I think that sometimes sometimes we set too many rules, basically.
Yes, I agree.
And so what I want to do is I want to see, where do we want to go with it? I will tell you, it's not a club. It's not competing with FMARC or CARS, because I'm still going to be a member of both those, and we're all going to be members of both those. It's not anything to do with that.
what it is to do with is doing all those things that those clubs don't do. Okay. We're not going to do Aries stuff because I'm already a member of an Aries team with a club that does Aries stuff. Okay. I'm wanting to do contesting, and there's other big projects. There's a big project down the road that I want to take on. And I've been kind of honest about this right from the beginning, that I want a county-wide or a Southwest Florida-wide repeater system like the Big Stick system in Tampa.
Like the SARNet?
No, well, kind of like the SARNet, but I want it to just be Southwest Florida. Look here, I'll show you. I keep forgetting I can just show you.
Big Stick system? I heard somebody mention Big Stick system, but I still don't know what it is.
Well, and I'm going to show you.
Well, in many areas, well, I'll give you an example of Atlanta. They have mountains around Atlanta, and so they put a repeater up there, and that covers the whole Atlanta metro area with one repeater.
Right.
So that's basically what it's talking about. And
yeah, there's a lot.
Doing around here that way, you probably have to link some repeaters together.
Right, and that's what we want to do. What I want to do is link repeaters together. I got a lukewarm response from the club. We've got like 14 club repeaters and private repeaters and county repeaters, and none of them are hooked to anything except a few of them are hooked to Fusion. What I want to do is something like the Big Stick system in Tampa, which is basically a series of 5 sticks that are on 6 frequencies, and those frequencies cover all of Tampa and a great portion of Central Florida, West Central Florida, and Central Florida. So I talk on this system from here with my double Yeagis. They're closest. They have a VHF/UHF combined repeater in Verna, Florida. You'll see that here, right here, Verna, 150. There's the freaks. You'll see them right there. I can hit that from here. It's a good stick. You can hit it from here if you got a Yagi or something. I can't hit it with my Omni clearly. But when you hit that, you're talking on all 5 of them, just like on SARNet, basically, but it's a lot smaller. What I like about this is they do up there on this system, they actually have a National Weather Service come on and do their Skywarn net on this. Well, I'm a Skywarn, right? I took the class, I did the stuff, I signed up, I got the stuff, but we don't have a Skywarn net down here. So I sign in on the Skywarn net. I check in on the one up on there, and I get to it from Verna. So aim your Yagi right east of Sarasota and see if you can hit that repeater on Verna. They all have a access tone. It's here somewhere.
Require 100 hertz tone.
It's 100 tone, yeah. So you just put that frequency in with a 100 tone, and try to see if you can hit it. If you can hit that, you can talk to your friends way up in Brooksville. I mean, it's an amazing system. I'm thinking about streaming it. I'm actually working on a Yagi out on the corner of my property. If I can get a clear signal,
yes, do it
on this repeater system, I'm going to stream it.
Yes,
absolutely. They have a Thursday night TechNet, which I highly recommend. It's a radio TechNet. It's a little more difficult, but it's very informative. And it's where I kind of got the idea for this technically. So I'll give kudos to them for that. They also have, they have their NTS traffic net every night at 8:30, I think it is. It's up there. And so there's a lot of nets that are on this system here, club nets and different nets, because this net covers the whole area. This is what I want to do here. I want a system here where we can talk all around, and where when we have a club net and we got a guy in DeSoto County up in Arcadia that's in our club, and we got a guy down in Naples that's in our club, they can both talk on the net. That's my goal. I know that seems kind of simple.
No, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Steve. Yeah. If he shows me one more French fry, I'm going to crawl through the screen. And he's dipping it in ranch too, which is one of my stunts.
Anyway, all right.
Doesn't know.
He's got me muted. We're just watching him eating while we're muted.
Okay, are we muted? You suck. We're muted.
Yeah, I guess we are. Okay, so anyway. All right. Opening and it's back up. Does anybody have anything else they would like? Oh, let me finish with the TechNet. This is the end goal. The early goal is I want to do a little competition team. Let me tell you something I found out. We can get competition call letters with 5 members. Ooh. We can also get ARRL official club / competition club status with 5 ARRL members. So
my ARRL member?
Yeah. So
I am an ARRL member, I think.
Yeah. So all I need is 5 and we can do this. And like I said, it's going to be in addition to what we're already doing with FMARC and everything else. So it's going to be really cool. We will not be doing anything that FMARC or CARS is participating in. In other words, if they're doing Winter Field Day, we will not do Winter Field Day. That's kind of a deal I've made with everybody. I've told the president, I've told everybody that's what I'm going to do because I don't want to compete. So we are literally going to do everything on the weekends. And if FMARC is doing an event, we're not doing anything on that weekend. We will not do that weekend. And if they're doing that event, we won't do that event. We'll do it with them. I'm going to still do Summer and Winter Field Day with the guys with our club. So anyway, but I want to be able to get in the competition. Some of these competitions where 3 or 4 of these guys get together and they set up a tower and all this stuff and it makes me excited to want to do it. It makes me want to do it.
Me too.
And so, yes. And so I want to get excited about it and I want to find some other people that want to do it because I can't financially do it and I can't do it all by myself. It takes a team. And but that's what I want to do is mostly competing,
competitive
and getting
radio.
Yeah. But again, not necessarily in it to win it, at least not at first.
No, we're in it to win it.
We may get to the point where we're in it to win it. I'm not really an overly competitive person at heart, but I'm a very passionate person and it can be converted fairly easily. So anyway, now what is he eating now? It looks like chicken.
What? Yeah, what was that?
Bless, I'm hungry. All right. That and I turned the air off too, so it's starting to get a little steamy in here. All right. Anybody have anything else?
Party next week.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at. Where's my mouse? Oh, it's on that screen.
It's halfway down the state already.
Oh my God.
Got 40 computers hooked up to it.
It's in Mexico.
What is that? Mexico? The Mexico QSO party? Is that what you said it was?
No. The mouse is in Mexico.
Oh. Well, there ain't much this weekend. There's the DX contest. Wait, I don't mean to sound ignorant. Where is UN? Is that the UN? Where the hell's the UN? Kazakhstan.
UND is context. Yeah. What?
Oh, non-Kazakhstan stations get 10 points. Yeah, this is on the other side of the world. This one's going to be a tough one. Guys, I don't think there's any contests going on this weekend.
No, there's not much going on this weekend.
Oh, man. Feldhell Sprint. I looked into those sprints. They're a little complicated. Not that I wouldn't do it at some point.
I haven't gotten into those yet.
There's the King of Spain contest. What is this all about? Worldwide. Oh, it's CW. Thanks for excluding me, jerk-offs. Okay. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. All right. What do you guys think about this? There's nothing. All right. Let's hope for some sporadic E. Oh man. Okay. So let's take a look at current conditions, I guess. Last 15 minutes, all modes, all bands, last 15 minutes. What's going on? What is it not refreshing?
Don't you have to push go?
I did. It's slow. I remember I'm streaming to YouTube and I'm running 4 screens through USB cards. Yeah, there's your current conditions. This is a very fast, solid state computer. There's no moving parts, but it's a laptop, which means it's challenged on its bus rates sometimes, and of course, heat dissipation's a problem. I have it sitting on 2 Baofeng boxes, about this high, and then I have a fan forcing air underneath it, and then I have another fan. Listen, I'll stick my finger in it. Ow. I got another fan right there blowing across the top of it. Okay.
You need to bring in an osprey. You know what an osprey is?
The helicopter?
A bird?
No, it's V-22, V2 Osprey.
There's a video on there today of that thing landing, and it was just blowing stuff. Everything in its path looked like a tornado had hit. I mean, it was just blowing stuff all over the place.
That would cool both my laptop and my radio at the same time, probably. That would be awesome. Better pipe that in.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking of some crazy stuff here, but I have an air conditioner up here. I use a window shaker in here that's mounted in the wall, and I've been thinking about getting dryer duct and ducting out of that thing and coming down the wall and splitting it into two and air conditioning up underneath my computer and air conditioning the back of my Yazoo radio that I'm always on. And let's see how it likes that.
Put it in the freezer. Just run all the cables out of the door.
You know, you laugh. I've thought about this. You guys laugh. If I'm gonna set up a remote station in somebody's garage, I'm gonna do it in a refrigerator, an upright. It's a single door refrigerator. And now I know it's crazy. It sounds crazy, but think about it, right?
No, it's genius.
Yeah, you turn it up as warm as it can go, which is still like 50 degrees, right? And it just sits there and runs, takes up somebody else's power, and your radio's in there nice and cool. You just mount everything on a nice rack in there and leave a spot at the bottom. The guy can keep his beer in there. And
then it'll be super cool, and it'll be a quantum computer with a quantum ham radio.
Yeah, with an amazing duty cycle.
Oh, the best.
Yeah.
Infinite range.
I've been thinking about that.
Get too hot. You put them in that, and that wouldn't really trouble.
Yeah, I literally find a spot where we can drill through the side, run all our wires and coax in, and seal it. You can even put a lock on it, man. And there's your seed room. There's your communications bunker right there.
And it'd be resistant to like EMPs and nuclear bombs and stuff because it's in a giant metal case.
Yeah. As long as somebody unhooks the aluminum in time, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, I've always thought about that. What's the best thing to build a little communication room, like a cabinet, basically, a refrigerator. All right.
I looked at building a shed to put my radio stuff in, and the biggest problem with it probably is keeping the thing cool. Because you'd have to run an air conditioner to keep the dampness out of your equipment and everything.
Yep.
So you'd have to have a window unit air conditioner or a split middle air conditioner. You can get those, but it's kind of expensive.
I want to mention, we were talking earlier about some things the group was going to do. I do have a list, actually. I just put it up there on the screen. This is actually a list that I came up with of things that I would like to do with the group. But the group, of course, can decide what the group wants to do. I mean, you could literally just come and fire me right away.
But what I'd like to do is I want the group to take a closer role in this and start helping me co-host and produce this on a better level. I would love to have a producer that can do the back end of this stuff for me. Promote amateur radio through community outreach. This is something nobody does it. We did Winterfield Day. Nobody contacted the media. I offered, nobody did. We do events. We did Buckingham. Nobody contacted the media. I offered, nobody did. I don't know what it's going to take to get more people to start signing up for this, guys. But if we don't have anybody to talk to, what's the purpose? I mean, literally, there's two parts of this. There's the science part and the social part.
Yep.
Let's just be honest to ourselves here, right? And we have to nurture both parts. If all we nurture is the science part and we don't nurture the social part and we don't do those things we got to do to get the word out about what we do, this thing's dying on the vine, folks.
One thing you have to remember about trying to get the media to do a story on you or whatever is from the outside perspective, from someone who doesn't know a whole lot, even if they're contacted, to them, it looks like a bunch of old guys sitting around at folding tables on radios doing nothing for 2 days or whatever. So
it is, unless you're there.
I got to be there to break up make it more diverse. But yeah, you have to. That's one of the things that will make people not want to be interested, because from the outside view, unless you know what's actually going on, it looks like a very boring, non-eventful thing that no one would really care about. And so that's one of the things. We got to get the whole crowd more diverse. I think we got to get more physical people there, of different kinds of people too. Because right now it's all sort of same.
What I wanted to do, what I offered on Winterfield Day, and what I offered on Buckingham was to get the morning crew out. See, everybody always talks about the 6 p.m. news. We're not going to get on the 6 p.m. news. I could tell you guys right now. We might get on the 4:30. We need to be on the morning. The morning's where it's happening, because you got a crew. The night before, they have to figure out what they're going to do the next morning. And if they come in the next morning and a bunch of dogs die in a house fire, they're going to send them to that. But if no dogs die in a house fire, they're going to now send that crew to whatever's top on that book. I want to help get that to the top of the book. I went back to the news desk 3 days ago and sat down and spoke to one of the news directors back there about getting a cars event covered that they have coming up this coming weekend. Now, whether it gets covered or not, I don't know, but it's in the planner. And if the breaking news doesn't cover it up, it will get covered by the Charlotte County team that morning. The morning is where we do it. So we're at field day, right? They're looking for news from 4:30 a.m. I don't know if you guys realize that. Local news on Wink and on ABC2, ABC-2, both very good news stations. I work for one of them. They both come on literally at 4:30 in the morning, okay, doing news. That's, but you know what, early, okay? And that's way early. They need something to fill time. What are they going to find that's going on at 4:30 in the morning? And then at 4:48, and then at 5:05, and then at 5:40, and then at 6:15. What are they going to find? Field day. We're out there for 24 hours. They can come out at 2 in the morning and set up. They can pre-tape some interviews. We can do all kinds of stuff. I know how to entice these people. All right. I'll tell them, you don't tell, you know what? You don't tell the news about who there is to interview. You don't tell the news about, we're going to be establishing a digital contact with stations that are located over 1,000 miles away. They don't give a crap about any of that. Okay. You know what you tell them? There's great visuals. Let me tell you what it looks like.
Well, what do you tell them?
I tell
a bunch of fat guys sitting on the radio.
Look, we've got a bunch of fat old guys. But that being said, these guys are really cool. We're going to actually be operating radios, and we're going to be talking around the world. And you guys will actually, we're going to let your reporter talk on the radio. And we're going to let your reporter make a contact with a station that's hundreds of miles away over the radio. And we're going to do this it as many times as you want through the morning. And we're going to do it with different operators. So every optic is different. Every time we come on, every 15 minutes, we're going to do local this on the 8s and the 15s. They're going to come in probably 4 or 5 hits an hour. They're going to come in. And every time they come in, she'll be sitting with a different guy. Oh, now she's sitting with John. John's going to talk about this thing called FT8, you know? Okay, now she's sitting with, and oh, so you're not talking to him? Nope, we don't even talk. There's no mic or nothing. We're just, boo, 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 you know? And so every 15 or 20 minutes when there's a new hit, there's something new to talk about. The next hit's going to be out by the trailer. This is the emergency trailer. This is built for emergency communications. It's housed at the Lee County EOC. It's there for us to use for emergencies. And we use these drills and these field days so we can practice with the equipment, yada, yada, yada. And the next one's done over here. We'll save the trailer for right after dawn because we want to be able to see it. Okay, we're going to do the earlier ones where the radios are because there's where all the blinking lights are. We can actually have some nice visuals.
That would be cool.
You understand I'm talking TV right now.
Yeah.
You got to, if you want TV at your event, you have to think like they think. And you have to remember, most of them are simpletons that went through college about 3 years ago. Okay, they went through college, which teaches nothing about life. And then they show up at your event and they're like, hi, I'm from the news. What do you do out here? Because I was told that I've got to come out and like stick a mic in your face and like ask what you do.
You're absolutely right.
Is that not the way the media is now?
Yes.
So you have to make it fun for them, man. And fun is not audio. Fun is visual. So lots of blinking lights, lots of B-roll footage, lots of guys say, look, we've already set it all up, but I'm going to tear that down and set it back up again for you right now.
I'll help.
Yep. That's all they need to do. And I know what to say to them to get them out there. And that's all we got to do. And I've been working with the group, been working with the club. I talked to the PIO. We're going to be the next one. We're going to pump it. We're going to push it. We're going to get it out. So we're going to be doing it with that club with FMARC as well. But I want to really do some hammering. I want to show time. If I show people your age contesting, do you think that's better than if I show people your age Aurora scatter something? I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you see people there, oh, look, he's contesting. Da, 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 da. Look at him, man. Look at him go. He's winning. It's a competition, and you don't have to have big muscles. I mean, to me, seriously, yeah. To me, amateur radio can be made fun. We have to make it fun. Yes. We have to find the parts of amateur radio that would be fun to the newer people and plug that. Okay.
Yes. You know, finally, somebody about
talking to the space station. That's always a good one too. I mean, I agree with that one. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
I wish they turned their radio on more up there, but I mean, we are paying them guys, right? Anyway.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on. I mean, like, they have nothing else to do, right? They're just floating around.
They just float in circles all day and put blood in a centrifuge. That's all they ever do.
Oh, and there's a few switches too.
There's some laptops on the wall.
Anyway, yeah, something. But so anyway, that's some of the stuff I wanted to do. Antenna building, live streaming, Echolink services, and amateur operations. I want to do Echolink nodes. I want to do eventually WinLink nodes. I want to set up as many different things as we can set up in as many different locations as we can set them up.
Yeah, know what All-Star is? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
Yep.
Antenna building, don't forget to include stealth antennas because a lot of people are antenna restricted. And
yep.
We've got to come up with a way to help folks that have this problem. I mean, I've got some of my own solutions here. Although I'm not in the antenna restricted area, but I'm still able to put things up with a very low profile. So, we help people that are having trouble with that.
And you're absolutely correct, which brings us to the very next point, and that's provide remote HF phone and HF digital operating stations to members that do not have access to the sky.
this is the primary thing that I want us to do. This is probably the number one thing of all that I want to do. I want to get an old radio, an HF radio. I want to set up a 40-meter antenna that's set exact length, no tuner necessary. I want to set it up at somebody's mother's house. I'm going to set the first one up at my mother's house, by the way. I want to set it up at your mother's house, my mother's house, and turn it on and press go. And now you will have your own desktop and you can sign into that computer as a member of our little group. You can sign into that computer. It's your desktop. It will already be your call sign, your WSJTX, your call grid log screen, your grid tracker, your logbook of the world. Everything's set up just the way you like it set up on that computer. And you can dial in anytime you want. You just go on, there's going to be an online live log that you'll go into, and you'll just block out time. You're on there, I'm on this hours, whatever. And you'll get to use that system. I want to put many of these systems online. And I figure I can put 2 systems online per home that I can get into. And I've already got the first one. My mother is going to let me install 2 of these systems in her home over in another part of North Fort Myers here. And I'm going to hang up antennas out front in the back of her house. And I'm going to put up 2 systems, 2 complete systems is my goal. And I want to do 40 and 20. And my first 2 bands I want to get up, both on FT8. And that's how we're going to start. And I want to be able to dial into those rigs anytime I want. And when you dial into your desktop. And when you dial in the first time to your desktop, it'll be like everything will already be there. The icons will already be there for all the programs, JSD, JS8 call, whatever thing you're going to use, whatever, you can dial in. Eventually, I want to have rig control where you'll be able to actually go up and down the bands. Eventually, there'll be phone. You'll be able to actually put a headset on and use the button on your headset, breaker 19. And isn't that so cool? So that's just kind of that's the number one thing I'm trying to do right now is the mobile HF rigs, because you know what? I think if we polled FMARC members right now, we would find 50% of them don't have free access to the sky.
No, you're right. We don't even have it here. I mean, we got an antenna, but it doesn't work. So you're like, even here, you know, I'd definitely make use of a system like that.
Anything. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, those contacts count. All you do is you would set up your logbook of the world in that computer on that grid square. And you would set up your TSQL on that computer for that grid square. And of course, we would be able to help you through all that, get it all set up on there so that when you log into that computer, your logbook of the world is logging you in that grid square at the proper location. So I don't know. I think it's cool. And it's 100% legal. They're doing it everywhere. It's one of those things. There's no legal issues involved in this. What you do on this mobile setup is your responsibility, just as if you were at the radio. Who is responsible? Well, both the person that set up the radio technically and the person using it. But if you do something irresponsible, that's basically on you.
How are they going to get that?
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I'm going to have to wrap it up here. My battery's getting low, and I'm glad it works. And I just want to say it was fun, and have a good time, guys. Nice seeing you.
Coming that far, I mean, you must be at like 1,000 watts to get all the way down here. So yeah, I mean, I imagine your battery's going dead.
Yep, I'm running 1,000 watts.
All right, man. Well, have a good one. We'll see you when you get back.
All right.
All right. But anyway, and the last few things, and we're going to be getting going soon, but the last few things I wanted to tell you guys about was I want to also participate in some propagation projects. One of the things I like to do is I like to leave my radios on at night and let them collect propagation data. And then the next morning, I can go look and see all the stations that my radio contacted through the night or listened to through the night. I look on my WJTX screen and I can see a list with the time in UTC of all the people that my radio heard. And then I can go to the PSK reporter, put in my call sign, hit enter, and it shows me a line drawn to every station that I heard overnight. I do the same thing at work. When I go to work during the day, I do the same thing. The reason I do that is because I want to see when the band openings are happening. And so I'm just letting you guys know, one of the things I want to get into is continued propagation monitoring. It's something that that needs to be done from locations where nobody's transmitting. And so it's something cool I want to try to do at some point, maybe set up some listening stations or some beacons and stuff like that. I'm really getting into propagation research. And group contesting, both digital and phone, and POTA. I know FMARC does a little POTA, but it's all been way down south, and it's I don't, not really a lot going on with it. So I want to do some POTA stuff up this way, and so that I want to eventually get to, maybe the group does once a month, we meet out at a park and do and activate. I want to start activating parks ourselves. I tried to get the group to, you know, let's go out and activate parks, and they're just like, yes, some guy's doing that. All right, I guess that's about it. All right, I'm going to open it back up. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about, or any other projects they're working on, or any issues that they're having that they'd like to discuss? Wow. Okay. All right. Very good. I want to remind you guys, as always, I'm constantly looking for things to update the Southwest Florida TechNet website with. And one of the things that, one of the new things I got, well, I don't really have a lot of new things on here, but I've got our 3 streams up here now. And you can listen to those. You can also go to Broadcastify and just look up your local area. But what I really recommend everybody do is download Police Scanner on your phone. It's just the easiest way. And then you can literally use the GPS in the phone, and it shows you all the scanners by the order of how far away they are from you, which is really, really cool. And when I say police scan, it shows you all the scanners. There's Marine Band scanners, there's amateur scanners, there's police, there's fire, there's railroad scanners, there's all of them on there. So it's some really cool stuff to check out on there. And I thought that's cool. The archive, you just click archive now, and I want to make sure you guys see that all you got to do is do that. And there's all of our previous nets. Not all, there's like 1 or 2 missing I'm still working on, but there's nearly all of our nets up, and you can go back. I'm making sure I date them and I put a good topic on them, a good title, so you can see what it was about. And I've been pretty good about that. So I'm trying to be consistent about all that when I put this stuff in. Does anybody have any questions about the website?
Did you make it yourself?
Yes, it's a Wix website. I made it myself.
Well, I saw that. That wasn't there before, though. That banner was not there previously.
Which one?
The one that says Wix up at the top.
Oh, yeah, that's there because I don't have a lot of money. If I gave them $75 for the first year, just $75 for the first year, and $150 for each additional year after that, they'll take that ugly piss poor banner right off the top of my page.
Can you just download the actual, well, what if you just self-hosted the website?
No, it's all, it's their code. It's all proprietary. Yeah. It's all the category there. You can know none of that going on. But anyway, as far as space weather goes, there was just literally yesterday, there was a little bit of a CME that came in and sparked some geomagnetic storms, and they got a little stronger than NASA actually thought. Remember, we're just starting in the solar cycle 25, and of course, we're looking for life right now in the sun. And a minor CME is coming towards us now. It's going to arrive on the 13th, which is coming up. Well, that's old. Okay. Why did that give me some old page? Is something wrong here? Oh, okay. Wait a minute. It's going to be on the 18th. I'm sorry. I was reading wrong. There was one on the 13th. That's why I was like, wait a minute. That was yesterday. There was one yesterday. Anyway, there was a sunspot yesterday that billowed out energy that will be here on the 18th. So we just got to watch out for that. It'll mess things up a little bit. But the main thing I wanted to bring up again is this right here, I've been noticing, right? You guys can see where I'm doing that.
Yeah.
When you look at space weather, you're going to see those band openings happen right here. You're going to see it'll say high muff, and that's not a dirty word from the 70s. It'll say high muff, or high, whatever. It'll give you the minimum usable frequency on that band. So that's where you look right there for your openings on 6, like we were talking about earlier. And of course, I like to look over here for all the other stuff. But there, and then of course, I keep an eye on the solar flux. If it's in the middle of the 70s, that's pretty normal. All right, and that's pretty much all of that. So, like I said, we are looking at another glancing blow coming up, another CME, but it's still probably a good year or two away before we really get into the heat of it, I think. So anyway, anybody have anything else? All right. One more thing I'll show you guys. I'm still working on this, but I did put a little more time into it the other day. Under resources, it's called Lee County repeater coverage. And yeah, this is something I'm working on. This is all of our repeaters with the coverage areas, but it's a work in progress. But I just want to show you guys it's in here. And when you pull it up, you can now play with it. Once it comes up on your screen, you can play with it and it won't affect the original. But also this Southwest Florida repeater map right here. I've put a lot of time into this, guys. This is all the repeaters. And oh, great. My screen just went out. That's great. These are all the repeaters. And when you click on one, it brings up all the information about that repeater, what it does, what nets are on it, when the nets are held. It even shows who owns it and everything. So this is something I've been working on to try to make it simpler for newer folks. So when they click on that repeater, they can see, oh, that's a Sanibel repeater. It's owned by the city of Sanibel. Da, da, da. Oh, I can get the loggerhead net there at 7:30 p.m. Da, 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 da. So I'm trying to get this. And notice that it has the feet. Some of them has the azimuth, or the Latin lawn, I should say. And but anyway, I've been working on this, guys. It's still a work in progress, but it's something I'm working on. And I would love to eventually have this to be something that's statewide even. We'll have to see how something like that goes.
On the map thing, how do we know which repeater is which circle? Is that not set up yet?
That's part of what I'm working on.
Okay.
What I'm probably going to have to do is literally blow that up and print it out, and, or copy it, and then go back in and put the numbers on it with a different program. But I don't know, I'm still playing with it. But I like for people to work with stuff with me, so I just put it on there, even though it's still kind of in progress, you know.
Wait, I can move the circle. Is this going to affect like your data if I move this circle?
No, what's cool is you basically downloaded your own copy of what I'm doing. And notice at the bottom, every time you move something, it changes that link at the bottom, and you can save your own when you're done.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love it.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's downright sexy.
Because I was gonna sometimes like the existing FMARC repeater coverage map is not accurate at all. They're very grossly underestimating the repeater's footprint.
Okay, I made those maps. The two that they put up on the FMARC site, I made those maps. They do not do anything except show you the mileage from the repeater. That's all they do.
This is an older map.
Okay, the ones. Let me pull it up here. I want ones where the circles are based on height and output power. I want the circles to show you where the effective ranges would be, but I'm having a hard time finding any way to produce that data. So if somebody can help me with that.
Wait, couldn't you just plug in the altitude of the antenna and into one of them antenna the range calculators?
Well, yeah, but what I need to do is because I need to calculate the circle based on the height and also based on the wattage. I want to base it on, because we have some that are 100 watts, some that are 50 watts, and I want to base it on that.
We also have a few that have directional disadvantages and things like that that are not represented either. Ones that, like, if there's one that sits on the back of the monopole at the EOC, it has quite a shadow right towards Fort Myers.
Ooh.
So yeah, there's just little things like that you got to keep in mind. I would love to be able to show. Have you guys ever seen how they used to do the old AM circles where they would show how the bow tie that the thing puts out because it's like a directional antenna? You know,
yeah.
I would love to have that.
Yeah,
but,
look at radio locator. I would show you that thing.
Yeah, radio locator is a great program. If you guys have never used that, we'll do that one next if you remind me. But I'm looking at these under repeaters, under club. Let me put it up so you can see it. Under repeaters, where's it at? Under
Lee County repeaters? This is just a list mostly.
Repeater maps. You go right to repeater maps. And then the first one is the Aries map, which is a great map. This is the one that we put in the quick reference guide and the one that's given out for Aries. And then I made these. This is all the club owned repeaters, but these circles they're just based on, I think it was 10 miles, I think. So they don't give any credence at all to the actual range of the antenna, but I'm just trying to show people where the coverages are for this stuff, you know.
Okay. Wait, so the 685 is not club owned?
No, the three good ones all belong to the county.
Lee County. Okay. Yeah, of course they are, because they're on the tower.
Yeah. Well, and the 165's on a county-owned building. The 820 is on a tower in front of the college. I don't know who owns that. And the 685's on a tower that BBH is on, WBBH is on up in Charlotte County.
Yeah. Wait, so looking at this, seeing if it's more or less. Trying to see if the circles are. Nah, see that 820 one though. The 820, I can get the 820 up here in Buckingham, and that's quite a bit further away from the circle. So, but yeah, this is still useful. It's very useful here.
Well, again, it's just all that circle shows you is what 10 miles looks like. The 685 has probably half again at least the range of the 165. At least half again as much, if not double. You can, as a matter of fact, you can talk on the 685 with full quieting up in Arcadia and DeSoto County.
Wow.
Because it sits so far north, the footprint goes even further north, and we get way out of our area with it. That's why I'm like, if we could hook these three repeaters, which we can't because they're county. For some reason, they won't even entertain it. Okay, no problem. Okay, path of least resistance. This ain't it. But if we could connect these three together, I want you to look at this. It would be perfect. We would connect everything from DeSoto County to North Naples.
Wow.
It would be 5 counties.
We call it the Big Talker. The Big Talker system.
Instead of the big stick, we'll call it the Big Honker.
The Big Honker with 100,000 watts of power.
Yeah, because that 685 is a blowtorch. It doesn't help people on Fort Myers Beach, though. It doesn't help people in Estero. The club is looking at a couple of plans, and they're looking at putting in some crossband repeaters and things to try to make one channel like able to be picked up around the whole county. I don't know. There's some things they're working on. They may come up with something and do it, and that's great. I'm all for it. Anything I can do to support them. If at some point I can put something together and something hasn't been put together, then I'm going to put something together. But you know, it's one of those things. We're going to see how that goes. I just feel so strongly that a connected repeater system is one of the biggest problems we have here. You guys realize the FMARC is one of the biggest and best ham radio, and I'm not blowing horns here. They're one of the best. They're the biggest. They're 240 paid members right now or something. Huge. We got money in the bank. We're putting up 220 repeaters. Life's good. The one thing, the other than I think getting more involved in contesting and other things, I think they could do stuff like that too. But the one thing I think they missed the boat on, the club, and I've talked to Steve about it, and they're working on it. Okay, so it's not like they've dropped the ball, but the one thing that hasn't been done yet that really has surprised me is a connected repeater system. Period.
I just think if we had one, like you're saying, one giant system that is all central, like I think the problem now, and one of the problems with having too little activity is that everything is all spread out because there's not one system except for the 685, but there's not one particular system that's super good. If we had a bunch that were on nice high towers with nice powerful outputs, we optimized them the best we possibly could. We could have one central system throughout all of Lee County or whatever, and then everyone could go there and it would work everywhere and it would be perfect.
Yep. And then if you connect WindLink to that, or EchoLink to that, EchoLink to that. Now, all of our club members, 40-something% of our club members that go north for the winter or summer, whatever it is they go north for. That one, the hot one. They would then go north. They would still be able to be on the club net on Monday nights.
Yeah.
I mean, in Charlotte County, when they do all their functions up there, all their members still check in. They do net control from the mountains up in Georgia, wherever. I'm telling you, EchoLink, it's amazing.
I heard someone check in from Alaska one time on that. Like they go way far out there.
Oh, well, with EchoLink, you can check in from anywhere in the world as long as you're somewhere where there's a connection to the internet. You can pretty much check in from anywhere in the world. All right, I'm going to do a measure distance, and I'm going to measure distance. I'll show you guys what I'm doing here. Anytime we talk about distance, we want to look at what's the actual distance, okay? The 685 repeater. Now, I understand the 685 repeater is an amazing repeater. It's up 600 and something feet. It's at 100 watts. It's a tower-mounted transmitter, which means it's all making it to the air. Okay, I get all that, and it's excellent. It's a blowtorch. But if you're a club member and you live in Bonita Springs, that's 33 and a half miles you got to make it to your club tower to get on your club net. And you're still in the club county.
Well, that's
33 miles.
All you got to do for that, though, is put some effort into a beam.
Okay, you're right. Let me give you the other side of this, okay? Now, you're a New Ham. Want to get you involved, okay? You live on Fort Myers Beach. We want to get you involved, okay? So you buy a bow thing. What does that bow thing get you on the beach?
Nothing.
A bunch of frustration unless you've got a 7th floor balcony on the east side of the building. So basically what ends up happening is people get discouraged early on because they want to be a part of the net. And the only way they can be a part of the net is to go outside and stand on their dad's motorhome and hold the radio really high up in the air and use a breast mic. and get a collapsible foldable antenna and put a tiger tail on it and lick their thumb and take their shoes off. And that's the only way they can get a signal with the thing. Okay.
That's actually a great thing to do in this afternoon.
Oh, I gotta.
Yeah. So my point is that guy going to get on the net every day? Of course not. Now, if he can get on that net sitting in his chair by his TV with his Baofeng radio, he'll check in every day. And we'll hear from him a lot more often. And he'll get more active. And he'll hear. If you can't talk, chances are you're not getting a clear signal to hear. He's probably not even listening to the net. Hence, I'm streaming it now. You can listen to the net at home or on vacation or up north without even checking in. You can just listen to it so you know what's going on with your club. I think this is important. And so I'm streaming these now. You can literally listen to the club nets. You know what I do? On Monday night, I check in, and then I switch over to internet because I'm driving south. I'm getting further away from the 685. I put my earbud in one ear, which is legal to be in one ear. I put my earbud in one ear. I plug it into my phone, stick it in my pocket, and I'd listen to the club net over my stream that I have here. Because I know that my radio is going to get worse and worse and worse as I go south. And by the time I get to San Carlos Park, my mobile radio is breaking up so bad I can hardly hear what's going on. So I believe that a connected repeater system connected to Echolink, that and then we hold all of our club functions on that network. Our meetings, our Aries meeting, our NTS traffic net, everything everything is done that way. What happened to the screen? It just kind of went blank. That's weird. Are you guys seeing a blank screen?
I'm seeing a black screen. I see, yeah. I don't know what happened to it.
I mean, we're pretty much done anyway, but
you were showing that distance from one point to another, that on the Google Maps. I've been using that around here to figure out where I can put antennas here at the house. You get real close, and it works for that too. Yeah, all that. It's been pretty fun for that.
I did that. I've been working on my own doing the same thing. Oh no, wait, that's not it. My place is I don't know which one it is. No, that's not it. I've got one on here where it basically shows all my home and a line to every repeater, and it has the mileage on every one all the way. I made that right after I started to kind of help me figure out where I was and what's going on. It was so confusing for me when I started, because I'm one of these people that want to do everything on the first day, and you can't do that in ham radio. You just can't. Sorry, guys, you got to hear the air. I'm just dying in here. I wanted to do everything right away, instantly, the moment I started. And you can't do that with ham radio. Everything takes time. It's a slow progression, learning things as you go. And it's been very difficult for me to slow my pace. And so what I do is I do a bunch of different things at the pace I can do each of those. And that's kind of how I get by. But anyway, I like the distance tool on Google. I use that quite a bit as well. And I wish I could show you the other thing I was just telling you about, but I can't. I don't have it. Anyway, let's get off of that. All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to bring up? Any projects you're working on? Problems, issues, anything that doesn't involve politics, religion, or borrowing money?
Yeah, Ian, just one thing. You talked about the Echolink. I got some issues, I guess, a week ago with port forwarding on my router. And basically what's happening is that, you see, I was able to transmit on Echolink. Actually, I got a nice connection, transmission initially to New Zealand and other places. However, the router needs to be opened, and port forwarding is a very important thing. Otherwise, nothing works. Are you familiar with that?
Actually, I'm at that point right now. I set up my Echolink node and it worked for the first day, and then it quit working. And I've troubleshooted it. I beat my head against a wall, and last TechNet, John told me it's your router settings. And I've actually went in and read a little bit about what you're talking about. No, I have not done it yet, but you and I are both at the same spot. I have to clear a route through my router for my Echolink, and I'm in the process of starting that now.
Yeah, I kind of figured it out, and it works. And I got nice connections to Croatia, New Zealand, Germany. I talked to a guy in Cyprus, English guy somehow, talking about the dust, the devils they have in Cyprus. And what's happening is there is there's a different procedure for different router. I have two routers. I have a Nighthawk, a relatively new one, and then I have a Netgear. And so what's happening is this. One has to go on, I think it's a router login.com, I think, if I remember. And then they give you a username admin, and stupid password is password, you know.
Right.
And then when you get into it, um, you have to, we had a discussion about it some time ago, you have to use a UDP port 5198 and 5199, and this is for I think both the outbound and the inbound communication. So that has to be actually set up, otherwise nothing works. And then you have to go to TCP 5200, which is TCP, I think, is for, I'm looking at this, that's for the outbound. Now, I had the situation that I could, it says connect. I saw I could transmit, but I couldn't hear anything. So after I fixed these routers, this Netgear, now everything worked beautifully. And since the router, once it's open, I set it up for my Samsung phone, and it actually works beautifully from my phone. So I talked to the guy in Cyprus on my phone and so on, and it's amazing sound. So I am in favor of what you are trying to do with Echolink, setting it up, you know, for the people here, because it's really the easiest thing to do if everything works. So that's basically what I figured out. The port, if you type port forwarding on the internet, then it should get you to some of this router login.net, and then you can follow through this. Now, the other thing is you have to also do this, unfortunately, in my Windows 7, you have to do it for the firewall, and you gotta do the same damn thing with the outgoing and ingoing things and the same damn ports. Once everything is set up, everything works. I was amazed on my phone how everything works now. Before, nothing was working. So that's the only comment I have.
That's cool. Are you using WinLink where you're talking on your telephone on this end, your smartphone, and
yes,
and you're talking on the repeater on the other end?
No WinLink.
Yeah. The Echolink. The neat thing about Echolink, one of the things you can do with it is a node. Set up a node, and you can actually connect your node to another node or a repeater. And it allows you to use a two-way radio on your end that goes to your node that you've set up, which requires another radio. This is just kind of a fun thing that I'm kind of working on here. I'm hooking up a Baofeng as a node, and then I can go on and I can connect this node to another repeater if I want to. And now I'm walking around my house with a radio that's connected to my node that's connected to the other repeater. So now I'm talking radio to internet, internet to radio, radio to repeater to person, and back. And it's really cool. So there's a lot of neat things you can do with it beyond just talking on it. But and the other thing is I know for folks that speak foreign languages and people that are from foreign places, Echolink's a wonderful thing, because it allows you to immediately dial on and use repeaters anywhere in the world and actually go and call CQ on a repeater in Europe, anywhere you want. I think it's amazing. When I first put it in, I went around and went around listening. And sometimes they would call me, they'd see me in there and call me, and I'd go on and talk. And sometimes I didn't even speak the language. I just go in for a minute and go back out. But I don't know. I love Echolink. And when I first got in, I thought it was new because Lee County did not have it on any of the repeaters. And so I thought it was new. So I went to Lunch Bunch one day and I walked up and I'm like, guys, I got to tell you about this new thing, man. They're doing it up in Charlotte County and it's really cool.
It's called Echolink. And they all just gave me this funny look because apparently this crap's been around since like the turn of the century. So whatever. Okay, I like it. And it's really cool. So I'm hoping that we can get that on a connected repeater system here in Lee County eventually. I'd love to see all of Southwest Florida. I'd love to see 2 repeaters in Collier and 1 in Charlotte. And let me tell you something else WinLink will do. Let's say we have the Charlotte County repeater has WinLink, the K8ONV and the WX4E repeater, both in Charlotte County are on WinLink, on Echolink, okay? So let's say we had our repeater system, our 3 towers connected to Echolink here, and let's say Collier County had 2 towers down there connected on Echolink. We can go in with permission and set it up at a certain time to connect all of those repeaters together and make them into a temporary connected repeater network using WinLink, Echolink, and that way everybody around the entire area could have an area-wide net once a month or something. So I mean, there's just a lot of possibilities out there because once a repeater has Echolink hooked up and working, it can now be connected to any other repeater or node or computer in the world that has Echolink connected and working.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. That would be great. Yeah.
So amazing stuff. And I'll let you know next week if I get my port problem figured out. Hopefully I'll have time to work on it this weekend, but I doubt it. The Echolink node fell back in the background because the Sporadic E season's coming. And I will not miss Sporadic E season. I've got my hunting license for Sporadic E, and I have a no bag limit, and I'm going to go out and get as many of them as I can this season. So there you go. Anybody got anything else?
I just want to say that I really appreciate what you're doing, and you and me clearly think a lot alike in terms of what our ambitions, I guess. So I'm really glad you're here. I'm really glad you showed up at the right time, I guess, because I didn't know about you until, I don't know, a few weeks ago. So yeah.
Well, I'm excited to meet you too, because you have some of the same enthusiasm that I do about the hobby. And I like that. And I think you also see some of that, the vision for the future that I think sometimes is missed. And between us, I think we can help get this out in the public more. I think that's so important. All right, man. Well, let's do it. All right. If nobody has anything else, I'm going to let it go. My food's inside. It's got 10 foil on it and it's cold. So I'm going to go and heat it up. All right.
All right.
All right, guys. I will see you guys later. Don't forget, we've got the Sanibel on at 7:30, Sanibel Net Sunday night at 7:30. Great time to test your little handheld Yagis and stuff because it's a tower way out on Sanibel. You got to be on the VHF side because they're not connected. So make sure you're on that. And also the windmill net at 9 o'clock on 50 megahertz, 6 meters. Check that out. The windmill net is a great time to test that 6 meter antenna that you decided tonight that you were going to build that we talked about earlier. So there you go. All right, guys, we'll talk to you then and we'll see you later. Have a good night, everybody.
You too. Goodbye.